For the last several weeks, Chris Peterson has kept the media and people who have speculated at bay as to who his starting quarterback would be. Would it be Browning? Would it be Lindquist? Would it be Carter Samuels? We'll find out for sure, definitively, in a few moments. First, though, Washington winning the toss, deferring to the second half. Boise State will receive the opening kick. Back deep, it's Kelsey Young and Jeremy McNichols for the Broncos. There's a look at McNichols, number 13. He'll be their starting tailback. And we are underway. It'll come back out. First down and 10 for Ryan Findlay, the starting quarterback. He only played in 5 games last year, completed 12 passes. He has limited experience, but for most of the summer, he had a good distance between himself and the other players at the position, and finally, after the second scrimmage, took control as the starting quarterback.
Well, I think he was presumed to be the guy in spring until he had an off-the-field incident that had him arrested, and they kind of pushed him back in line with everyone else, and he solidified himself as the starter during fall camp.
The 6'4" sophomore out of Phoenix, Arizona, has it first down and 10 from the 25. They'll hand it off, and a nice gain of about 5 yards by Jeremy McNichols, who didn't see a lot of action early in the season last year, but really became one of their key cogs offensively as the year progressed. Second and 4 after the 6-yard gain. And Findlay is going to take off. Stopped about 2 yards shy. So, Rod, 3rd down and 2 coming up. What do you like out of a Boise offense at this point?
Well, you know, they don't have what they had last year in Jay Ajayi as a powerful inside runner. They're trying to find that personnel. Is that McNichols, or do they feel they need to throw the ball? Well, we've seen them in 3rd down situations really look for short passes, pick routes, but you know they want to reestablish a rushing attack with that offensive line.
Jay Ajayi now with the Miami Dolphins. They're going to run it and get stoned back at the 30-yard line. A good surge up front from Azim Victor, and a good hit on Jeremy Nichols. So it'll be 4th down on the 3 and out coming up. And a nice sequence to start the game by Clay and the rest of that Husky defense.
Yeah, that's a defense that a lot of people wrote off after they lost so many people in last year's NFL draft. But that was a tremendous 3rd down stop. Now we'll get a chance to see what Washington does on offense and who comes out as quarterback.
Sean Wales standing on his own 17-yard line. It takes a Bronco bounce down to the 31-yard line where Dante Pettis catches the ball, and it'll be Browning to come out as the starting quarterback. Jake Browning is a true freshman, folks, 6'2", 205 pounds, out of California. Get this, he threw 91 touchdown passes last year, and as a senior was the high school player of the year. Rod, some very impressive statistics, but things are different under the searing bright lights on a Friday night here in Boise.
Well, so many of us who had that first freshman game felt the anxiety, the shortness of breath. Takes you a while to get it all settled down.
On first down, out just beyond the 30-yard line. Washington brought down by Correa.
Browning threw 10 touchdown passes in his first high school start as a freshman. Considered a bit of a phenom.
He can spin it in. He's very familiar, actually. The coaches from both these staffs are very familiar with him. A 1-yard gain on first down. Dwayne Washington sets behind the quarterback, Jake Browning. And there's his first collegiate completion out to Washington. He lost the ball. And he's brought down at the 33, recovered by Washington as Dwayne Washington. Dante Dion made the hit to knock it loose, but We talked about it earlier. Washington has a little bit of a proclivity to put it on the ground.
Yeah, he did that a little bit last year. In one game in particular, dropped it on the ground a couple times. Now on a third down, you do want to protect your quarterback. You see the fumble there. Empty formation, when you have no additional blockers in the backfield, teams like to bring pressure. Now they've got one back here. Do they give him more protection?
On 3rd and 7, the true freshman with his second completion, Jadon Mickens makes the catch. And it looks like he's going to get just enough, depending on the spot, for the first down. Jadon Mickens is going to be a key player for them this year, but there's a flag down back at the 28-yard line.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback. Defense, number 8. He hit the quarterback at the knees. This is a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Kamala Correa.
It's just kind of telling him you're not at Folsom High School anymore. That's kind of a low hit, though. You want to protect the quarterback's knees. Good call by the refs there.
So Jake Browning here on his opening drive of his collegiate career with a couple of completions. This time hands it off to Washington, and Washington out to the 39-yard line, where he's brought down by Tanner Vallejo and Summer Gardner.
You know, Browning is part of this new wave of young quarterbacks, kids who have quarterback coaches. He started working with a quarterback coach at the age of 10. Troy Taylor, former Cal quarterback out in the Sacramento area, has tutored him for years, including in high school.
2nd down and 6. Pettis in motion to the top of your screen. Washington takes the handoff over the 40 down to the 39-yard line. It'll set up a 3rd down coming up for the Huskies. Interesting that Chris Peterson, the former head coach at Boise State for 8 years, who was here 13 years in all as an assistant and head coach, making his homecoming. His old home was about 4 miles from Albertson Stadium here. As Dion signals for the fair catch back at his own 7-yard line. As we look at some of the major storylines coming into this, the 4th meeting all time between these two teams. Chris Peterson making his return, something that's been talked about for 9 months now. Washington starting a true freshman quarterback, Jake Browning. And Boise State has won 14 consecutive home games. Rod Gilmore, that is the 3rd longest streak in the nation. Hey, partner, good to be back for another college football season, right?
Glad it's back.
Quinn Kesenick down on the sideline, and so far we saw Boise State go 3 and out on the opening series. What do you make about how they get out of the gate in this game?
Well, you know, Findlay's got to get comfortable. He's not been a starter until tonight, so he's an inexperienced guy trying to get a handle on things here. A lot of emotions.
They hand it off to Jeremy McNichols, and one of the big factors for Boise State this year, they're replacing Jay Ajayi, who is now with the Miami Dolphins. He got a boatload of touches last year, so that's a big question mark for them.
About 400 touches when you combine his catches and his carries, and this team likes to run the football inside, and they're trying to find a back to replace him. I'm not sure there's one guy who can do it on this team.
Nice run into the boundary. Stays on his feet. McNichols picks up the first down of the season for Boise State.
McNichols, McWeapon.
That's what they call him in these parts. A 16-yard pickup for the first down.
They burned his red shirt last season to get him on the field because he can make explosive plays, and you saw a little speed there.
First down and 10 out at the 25 now. Findlay off the play fake, has a man in the seam, and it's almost intercepted. Nice recovery on the play by number 32, Buda Baker, arguably the most dynamic player in the secondary for Washington.
Well, he's an outstanding safety. He's a young man who can play some single coverage from that safety spot. You see it right there. Committed to Oregon and then switched and went to Washington.
Great two-way player coming out of high school. Buda Baker had that great bowl game. The Cactus Bowl appearance, had that big interception for the Huskies. 2nd down and 10 for Boise State. Little receiver screen, but that's going to be incomplete. Intended for Shane Williams-Rhodes, their leading receiver a season ago.
You know, this is the second series we've seen this Washington defense do a good job on early downs. This is a team that lost 3 first-round picks last season and a second-round pick, all off their defense. And so far tonight, first 2 series, they've been pretty good.
That secondary thought to be one of the strengths of their defense. 3rd and long coming up for the Broncos. A couple of receivers into the boundary. Pass complete to McNichols out of the backfield, and he's close to that first down marker. Let's see where they spot it. Looks like he's got enough for the first down. Got a great block out front from the tight end, Jake Rowe.
And so far, they are giving McNichols all he can handle. Giving the ball to him, throwing it to him, much the way they used Ajayi last year.
First down and 10 for Boise State. McNichols now sets in the backfield and takes the handoff. Powers ahead for a couple of yards. Azim Victor making the stop for Washington. Yeah, Rod, you talked about this Husky defense. 3 first-rounders gone. They lost 4 players to the NFL draft in the first 44 picks. And this is a tough night for them to come in under these lights and play against a Boise State team that returns a lot of starters.
That's why they are considered double-digit underdogs in this game.
Kelsley Young, the Stanford transfer in the backfield. Pass is complete. Now to the 43-yard line. That's Holden Huff, the backup tight end.
You know, it's not often that you find a Pac-12 team, one that has a reputation of going on the road to a non-Power 5 conference team and being an underdog. That's the kind of respect that Boise State has generated over the last few years, chiefly because of Chris Peterson.
Well, the last time these two teams met, Boise State was trounced 38-6, and there's a lot of Broncos that still remember that game. Young in the backfield and comes out wide open. They turned him loose. Young with a first down inside the 35. Buda Baker finally stopped him at the 33.
Yeah, Jonesy, look, a little bit of a pick play there. You run guys inside, they block off the inside coverage, and you get a guy free on the outside. Seen that a few times, huh?
Yeah, you're smiling because you mentioned the magic word, a pick play. Here's Kelsley Young, the Stanford transfer again, brought down by Tupou on the play. But Young is a senior playing on this Bronco squad with his brother.
Picked up his degree from Stanford, wanted a chance to go elsewhere and become an every down back. Didn't think he'd have that opportunity at Stanford. Here he is on the blue turf.
Second down and 6. Young again. Little or no gain on the play. He was the second leading rusher on that Cardinal team last year. Sets up a long third down coming up.
Yeah, he was primarily used as a change of pace running back, an outside guy. Scored a touchdown in the Rose Bowl a couple years ago on a reverse. Really a guy with good quickness.
11th play of the drive for Boise State. Play clock down to 7. Findlay on the option, hands it off, and they're going to be stopped up short of the first down. That was Young again. Got a couple of yards, so we saw Peterson go for it. What do you make of Boise State here?
Well, that was a 2-down territory call. Ran that one figuring that they would go for it on 4th down, and they believe in their offensive line. They've got 6 guys they think are starters, playing 5 of them obviously, and they think this is the strength of their team.
Tyler Rosso is a relatively new place kicker for Boise State, so he's going to stay on the sidelines. McNichols comes back into the ball game. Now motions out of the backfield. Findlay going to take off, has the first down at the 20-yard line. And he keeps the drive alive for Boise State.
He's been smart. He's been under control. He's made good decisions. That's Findlay.
Picked up 4 on the play. Handoff once again to Jeremy McNichols. Brought down by Corey Littleton.
Now, partner, in all the tape we were watching on Boise State, you kept pointing out, you know, Rod, when they get down here inside that 25-yard line, you kind of see trick plays out of them. I said, yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me in this kind of a game.
Yeah, but the guys on the other sideline know those trick plays.
I know that you know that I know that I do trick plays down here.
2nd and 7. Anderson in motion to the top of your screen. On the play action fake, Findlay again. There's some nice scrambling, picks up 5 on the play. Going to spot it back at the 13-yard line. Elijah Qualls made the stop. And another 3rd down coming up. They've been able to convert several times on 3rd down on this drive. There's Bryan Harsin, the 2nd-year head coach, former player here at Boise State.
Wildcat.
Jeremy McNichols now going to take the direct snap with this Wildcat formation. Fakes the handoff and gets another 1st down. So they are firing on all cylinders offensively right now.
You know, that offensive line, they really believe in. You go to the Wildcat, you take out Findlay, bring another lineman in, and just power ahead. Now they've got opportunities on a 1st and short down here, 1st and 7. A lot of options.
Enough again to McNichols, bouncing outside. Touchdown Broncos. McNichols with his 2nd rushing touchdown of his career, and the extra point no good. And the score remains 6-0. Back after this. A very impressive 16-play 92-yard drive by the Broncos, and they lead 6-0. And there's a guy right there that was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, Jeremy McNichols. Working on those hamstrings a little bit.
Help from Ryan Findlay making some key runs as well.
Yeah, that extra point was blocked by Buda Baker. That's Washington on the kickoff return. Three of 3 so far passing for a total of 8 yards. Pass is going to be ruled complete at the 32-yard line to Dante Pettis.
You know, Browning also has a connection to Boise State. You know, Chris Peterson was the coach at Boise State when he made a random stop at Folsom High School and noticed Browning. And one of the coaches there, Troy Taylor, who was a coach at Cal, said, hey, I got the next Kellen Moore, Boise State's all-time best quarterback. Says, this kid is the next one.
And they offered him shortly after that. Second and 3. Gets rid of it quickly for the 1st down. Nice catch. Number 82, Joshua Perkins, gets the 1st down for the Huskies, a pickup of 10. And he had already gotten some other offers from other big schools, including Alabama and Oregon.
And Michigan, Oklahoma State. You see the passes he threw in high school, and because of his accuracy, the fact that he's a pocket passer, not a dual threat guy, because he's such a smart guy, 3.58 GPA, all those things led people to say he's a Kellen Moore clone.
And off to Washington, sidesteps a couple of defenders. Nice straight arm, but then brought down right near the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and long coming up.
You know,
Washington.
Jonesy, I think one of the reasons Browning is in there, not just that he's a phenom, but the Washington passing attack was not good last year. They were 11th in the Pac-12. They were not very good. Bring him in for that, but they were also telling us that they would play more than one quarterback. And here's another one.
As scripted, KJ Carter-Samuels comes in. Number 11.
Bit more athletic, can run around a bit.
Hands it off out to the 47-yard line to Miles Gaskin, Another true freshman, talented, a 3-yard gain on the play. There's a look at the resume of Carter Samuels.
So there was a 3-quarterback competition in camp. Browning, Carter Samuels, and Jeff Lundquist. And we've seen the 2 freshmen, a redshirt freshman, true freshman, not Lundquist yet.
Expecting to see him before the night's over. Levon Coleman coming into the ball game now. 3rd and 6. Browning incomplete. Intended for Marvin Hall, and it's 4th down coming up. Rod, how much of a factor is the noise for a true freshman with all the emotions swirling for him?
I think everything's a factor for him. I mean, he's on the road. He's playing on a blue turf. He's never played on that before. He's got defenders out there wearing blue. There's a crowd that's loud. He hasn't played in front of 36,000 like this that are screaming and yelling at him. And it's his first college game. Yeah, the emotions are there. You get through that eventually, but that first quarter, you're feeling it.
That was his first incompletion. He was 5 for 5 before that. Durkee to punt. Gets off a good one. Drives it all the way back and through the end of the end zone. A 54-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Broncos with the ball when we come back.
Being tied into that staff over there that are all good friends of ours, we recruit a lot of those kids. Makes it awkward. And I really haven't had any contact with those guys because we are playing them, so that's made it more awkward. So you kind of say, we'll deal with that down the road. Well, down the road's coming.
And the road ended here today for Chris Peterson. The moment has arrived.
He recruited 49 of the players on the Boise State roster and 20 of the 22 starters.
Under a minute to go here in the first quarter. They hand it off. Devin Demas brought down short of the 20-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Quint Kessenich.
Coach Peterson describing his return as awkward and emotional, but watching warm-ups, it was all awkward. The coach didn't come out here until about 7:35. There was no reunion with his former players or former assistant coaches. The crowd gave him a warm applause. It wasn't overwhelming, but clearly Coach Peterson uncomfortable with being the center of attention. Didn't even shake hands with Bryan Harsin, which is a rarity. And I don't think you can blame it on either coach. It just, they were coaching their teams and didn't have the time, but it did stand out that these coaches, who are good friends, did not shake hands before this game.
Great stuff, Quint. Felt and looked to be more business than personal, at least for now.
Yeah, but if they had gotten together at midfield, it would have been, I love you, man.
Yeah.
I miss you, man.
There's no crying in football. Not on opening weekend. Peterson's team down by a touchdown when we come back. 1. Boise State bus one. That's Devin Demas, one of the fastest tailbacks that they have, and a nice gain for him of 14 yards.
Well, right now, that offensive line of Boise State is dominating this game. They started off slowly that first drive, but since then, they've kind of owned things up front.
First down out by the 31. Findlay sidestepped one would-be tackler and makes the completion out to the 40 to Thomas Spurbeck, who led the team with almost 900 yards receiving a season ago. Another first down. Jones there to make the stop.
That offensive line, veteran guys all back from last year, really getting things done right now, giving time on passes and blowing open some holes.
Going up against a very youthful defense for the Huskies. First down and 10. And another spirited run by Devin Demas, a 5'8", 175-pound junior from Houston. Let's go downstairs to Quint.
Spent some time with offensive coordinator Eli Drinkwitz pregame. He said they had some shots baked into their opening script early in the game, but Boise operated in that first quarter into the wind. They're now with the wind in good field position. Look for maybe a shot or two down the field here.
He's a team that always likes to play with a pretty aggressive offensive philosophy. McNichols got to the edge a little bit and tiptoed out of bounds, enough for the first down, Rod.
Well, and just to follow up on Quint's point, the fact that that offensive line is controlling the rushing game makes it more likely that they will take some shots down the field. they can feel confident that should they miss a shot down the field, they can come back on 2nd down or 3rd down and run the football.
Yeah, one of Bryan Harsin's strength this year is the people they return at the skill positions, and guys like Anderson and Spurbeck. Tight end Jake Rowe. McNichols in the backfield. Findlay going up top, and incomplete at the 20-yard line, intended for Thomas Spurbeck, being covered by JoJo McIntosh.
Yeah, he had him. That was the shot. They had him clearly open, but that ball was thrown to the left and outside, and Spurbeck, not known as a deep threat, got behind the corner over there.
2nd down and 10. McNichols in the backfield. Trips right formation. And here's McNichols. Got a nice block and picked up the 1st down at the 28-yard line.
That's a young man who, coming out of high school, committed to Utah as a wide receiver, but wanted to be a running back, and Boise State said, we'll give you that shot. It's worked out pretty well for him.
His teammates call him McWeapon. His Twitter handle, @theweapon13.
I like that.
You can figure out why, right?
Nice.
1st down and 10. Handed off to the Stanford transfer, Kelsey Young. And Young battering his way to another 1st down. A pickup of 13 on the play.
Jonesy, last time they got down here, they went to a wildcat running back in a direct snap position. They have 114 yards rushing already.
You mentioned it, that offensive line doing a great job. Young again over the left side, broke a couple tackles. 1st and goal. Actually short of the 1st down at about the 7-yard line. But great, strong, determined running by Kelsey Young. Young again. This time tripped up short of the 1st down by about a yard.
Well, Azim Victor, the middle linebacker, got in there and disrupted that play.
Washington looking for some playmakers this year, folks. They lost 3 defensive players in the 1st round of the NFL draft last year. 3rd and 1. Jeremy McNichols has gotten a lot of touches here in the ball game. Jay Ajayi now in the NFL with the Dolphins. And it's McNichols on the toss. Got the 1st down, and it's 1st and goal from the 3. Wuching finally making the tackle.
Not exactly missing Jay Ajayi right now. The 1-2 punch, McNichols and Kelsey Young, has worked out pretty well so far.
Nichols has 68 yards rushing already. Findlay keeps it. He's run the ball pretty well already tonight. Keeping a couple of drives alive on 3rd down, picked up 1. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, I'm not so certain about that call down there. I mean, he's not your powerful runner in that situation. Let McNichols go ahead. Or Kelsey Young, one of those guys that they've shown the ability to dip their shoulder and to run over a guy. Use one of those backs down here.
Well, McNichols is the lone back. Actually, in the offset eye, he's the deep back. Gets the call. Touchdown. That's one of the captains, Travis Feeney, speaking with the official. Harsin knocks this one through. And the number 23 ranked Boise State Broncos lead it 13-0 when we come back. 10:26 to go in the 1st half under the lights here at Albertson Stadium. Boise, Idaho. Boise State leading in Chris Peterson's return as head coach of Washington. Peterson was the head coach here for 8 years, 13 years overall on the staff. 1st and 10, Browning picked off at the 30. Darian Thompson with his first interception of the season. And Rod, you're shaking your head about the true freshman here.
Well, we were just talking about that during the break, that it was a dangerous time, that you're down a couple scores, your defense is struggling, and you're a freshman on the road. Now you might want to press a little bit to try to get something done, and that's what happens here. Underthrows this ball, and now you have a pick, and your defense is back on the field.
He was looking for Pettis, and look at the true freshman's reaction. Boise State can have this ball at the 24-yard line of the Huskies, too.
Yeah, he didn't see that Thompson was heading to the flat, and he underthrew that ball and got it picked off.
4 receiver formation for the Broncos. Boy, Findlay with great mobility made chicken salad that time out of nothing. Picked up 7 on the play. 32 seconds to go.
Yeah, he was running for his life. Had he had time, he would have found Williams Rhodes completely open in the end zone. But he was pressured and got out and got the best out of it he could.
Another 4 receiver set here for Boise State. Got rid of it quickly, completes it down to the 14-yard line. And a first down to the tight end, Jake Rowe, with 26 seconds to go. 1 timeout remaining for Boise State. An 8-yard gain on the play.
And if you're Washington, you're thinking, all right, you can't give up the 7, which makes it a little dicey. If you roll the dice here and you pressure to try and push him out of field goal range, you might have single coverage and some holes back there. You could give up 7.
Huskies defense defining itself here. 3 defensive players picked in the first round a season ago. Young covering up that ball with 2 hands and deep inside the 10-yard line. Clock running. Findlay throws it incomplete, stops the clock with 6 seconds to go. So what do you do now if you're Bryan Harsin?
I think you kick it. Hard to believe you can be certain that with 1 play you'll have a chance to get a second play, even with that timeout. You don't have enough control over it. And remember, he passed on the 3 points earlier when they had the pick.
Yeah, they went for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
Well, in comes the place kicker, Tyler Rassa. And an extra point block tonight. The field goal is good by Rassa.
And then dream on.
16-0 lead. 16-0 at the break. Boise playing their first home opener since 2009. They have the lead. Let's go to the studio for our halftime report. Boise State and the University of Washington Huskies. Huskies lead the overall series 2-1, but trailing here 16-0 as we get ready for the start of the 3rd quarter. Mark Jones, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kessenich down on the field joining us shortly. So far, Rod, Jake Browning, the true freshman who was one of the major players coming into this game, has had some brief moments early, but hasn't had a lot of time to really show much, has he?
No, they're struggling. They can't run the football. I think they're going to have to throw the ball down the field to really open things up. Their longest completion in the first half, 13 yards. That's not good enough. Boise State's defense is just sitting short, sitting in the middle, really jumping on everything, and they've taken away the rushing attack. So give them some time, get the ball down the field, and maybe they can find some offense that way.
Start of the 3rd quarter here from the 20-yard line. It's Washington, and Washington takes it out to the 38. Let's go downstairs. Quint Kessenich joined Coach Peterson a few moments ago.
Coach, what was your reaction to the warm applause that you received twice when you took the field tonight?
great people here.
Jake Browning, how would you assess his first half?
Yeah, he's doing okay. We got to give him a little more time to throw. We got to convert some third downs. We got to run the ball better. We're not having the ball. We haven't had the ball long enough. Our defense is on the field too long, and so we got to convert some things to stay on the field. If he can get into a rhythm, he'll be all right.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, that's the first true freshman quarterback that Peterson has ever started. High school player of the year in the state of California a season ago. But this isn't high school. That pass incomplete. His receiver seemed to break the other way, Rod. Pettis turned inside. The ball went outside.
Yeah, they weren't on the same page, and Browning also took a hit on that. And you really don't want to see that happen. You see there's a corner squatting out there. That was Jonathan Motze. And so Pettis went inside of him. Now you've got that second and long. And when you don't gain anything on first down, man, it makes it really hard to keep a drive alive.
Washington now comes out of the backfield. That pass complete, a good-looking strike to number 81, Braden Lenius. And a first down after the 12-yard pickup. Can they possibly make it any easier for them? We talked about the fact they had just 75% of the offense already in for them.
Well, I think they were a little concerned in the first half about getting him calm, you know, protecting him and not taking chances down the field. But they're going to have to do that, and that will open up other things.
Marvin Hall in motion. They toss it into the boundary. Washington with nowhere to go, brought down behind the line of scrimmage by about 3 yards. That's Armand Nance, one of the vocal leaders up front for the Broncos defense.
This defense, that front seven in particular, are really, really good. Really good against the rushing game. And when people have had success against Boise State, it's been down the field. That secondary gave up, I believe, 15 big plays over 45 yards last season.
Tough place for visitors to win games. Boise State has won 14 straight here at home. That's the third longest winning streak in the nation. Washington makes the reception out of the backfield, but far short of the first down. It'll be third down and long coming up for Washington. Look at the rush defense for the Broncos. Pretty impressive tonight.
Yeah, they've really controlled things. And when you make a team one-dimensional, they can't run the football, it makes it so much easier to play pass defense.
I wonder if they start taking a shot downfield. Is this maybe where they'll do it? We'll see. 3rd and 3. They toss it. And nowhere to go. Stopped up on the play.
That wasn't Browning in. They had KJ
Carter-Samuels.
Now the problem with that is when you bring him in, the defense knows it's a rushing play because he hasn't been throwing passes. So you become one-dimensional, and they look for it. I think if you're going to run it there, you keep Browning on the field for the threat of the pass.
Chico McClatcher was brought down, and they'll have to punt. Dante Dion at his own 5-yard line. Not a great punt here. Bounces at the 19-yard line. And Boise State will start from their own 19 after the 26-yard punt when we come back. Anything to get the edge. This is the Stanford transfer. Kelsey Young bouncing it outside, picking up a few yards on the play.
Washington is barely hanging on. They need a play. Their defense or their special teams will have to do something to give them a chance. They need a short field for the offense or a score out of the defense or special teams. They're not good enough offensively to make up this deficit on their own.
2nd and 6. Is it a matter of maybe dialing up some pressure or taking some chances here, Rod? What is it?
Well, you got to take your chances. You got to do something. Even if you don't get a turnover, a very short field, force a punt right now would help you.
Handed off up the middle. That was Young again. Be 3rd down and long coming up for Boise State, leading 16-0. The Huskies looking for a break here. Been a tough night offensively, defensively, looking for playmakers. With the beginning of this new season, they lost 4 players in the first 44 picks to the NFL draft. A lot of all-conference selections included. 3rd and 6 for the Broncos here. Findlay under heat, and he's going to be sacked back at the 5. So a huge play defensively for Washington. That's Corey Littleton, one of their prospective big playmakers. A loss of 9 on the play, and Boise State will punt in the shadows of their own goalposts.
Yeah, and he's been quiet most of the night, but a great move with his speed and quickness to get in there and get this sack. And so now you've got a chance to get a punt return and start with the ball in Boise State territory, or to make a play and get a big return. This is what you need to get back in the game.
Sean Whale punting from deep in his own end zone. A yard off that back line. Pettis fields it at the 43. Looking for a seam and working with a short field at the 27-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Huskies, and positive prospects after that 38-yard punt and 16-yard return.
Yeah, and think about the coaches for a moment here. You know, Chris Peterson, that move from Boise State where he was so successful. A lot of Boise State coaches have left, and they haven't done all that great. They haven't gotten second jobs. So if you think about what this season means for Chris Peterson, you see Dirk Cutter at Arizona State didn't get a second chance. Dan Hawkins at Colorado didn't get a second chance. Chris Peterson 8-6 last year. If they struggle this year, you know, do you start thinking, gee, I never should have left Boise State?
Always a difficult proposition. Gaskin in the backfield. Gets the handoff and makes it down to the 26-yard line. Vallejo making the stop on the play. Yeah, Washington under Peterson last year went 8-6, made it to a Cactus Bowl game. And this year, restocking the shelves with a pretty talented recruiting class.
Yeah, but for this drive right here, get Mickens involved. Run the fly sweep, run a pick. He's your only playmaker out there. He's got to touch the football.
Coleman in the backfield, and the freshman takes off. Slides down about 4 yards or 5 yards short of the 1st down. You talked about Mickens. He's missing the other half of the Legion of Zoom, as the two of them used to call it, talking about John Ross, who was injured several months ago and unable to play.
Yeah, 2-down territory. Mickens in the slot. He can run crossing routes. You can pick off someone. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he can make guys miss.
On 3rd and 6. They set up the receiver screen, tried to find Mickens, and the pass incomplete, broken up by Mercy Maston. And it's 4th down and 6.
The line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the official said no pass interference because it was behind the line of scrimmage here.
Yeah, they faked the bubble and then ran one inside behind the line of scrimmage, and that nickel back in there.
Cameron Van Winkle was 20 of 24 last year, had a very good year. And he comes in.
Yeah, most of those were inside the 40 for him.
The backup quarterback, one of them, Jeff Lindquist, is the holder here. So keep that in mind. From 40 yards out. And finally,
He got it.
after almost 3/4 of play, Washington is on the board in 2015. Back with more after this. Albertson Stadium, Boise, Idaho. I'm Mark Jones, chopping it up with Rod Gilmore and Quinn Kessenich down on the sidelines. The Huskies on the board after that 40-yard field goal. Cameron Van Winkle. And here comes Boise State. Jeremy McNichols on the kickoff return in a huge collision at the 24-yard line. A big blow delivered by Azim Victor. Azim Victor making the stop after the 1-yard gain by Findlay. Let's go downstairs to Quint.
Mark, the sense I get right now downfield side on the Boise sideline is this offensive line. This is a point in the game where they have to assert themselves and show their dominance. Very experienced coming into tonight, 95 starts. They've been poised and organized, really assignment sound. Marcus Henry took the blame for that last sack, but they have not been as physically imposing in the second half as they were in the first.
See if they can reestablish themselves here, Quint. Good point.
Well, I think Quint's right and he's onto something, but the other thing is that we're seeing more run blitzes by the Washington defense. Those linebackers are attacking the line of scrimmage. There's almost no respect for the thought of Boise State throwing the ball down the middle of the field.
Chaz Anderson, one of their deep threats. Shane Williams-Rhodes as well, who's had a quiet night by his standards. Spurbeck now splits out to the top of the screen. Findlay comes back that way, and it's incomplete. Sets up a 4th down.
A little bounce for Washington. A field goal, a 3-and-out.
Yeah, they've Washington's defense has been able to keep a pretty good eye on Shane Williams-Rhodes, Boise State's leading receiver last year.
Yeah, Sidney Jones did a nice job on that last play.
So another quick 4th down and another punt. Sean Whale, 3rd punt of the night for him. Came after it a little bit, but he got off a great punt all the way back to the 24-yard line. This is Pettis on the return, has a wall set up, got a block, still in bounds. Pettis shocking them here at Boise State. Touchdown. Got a great block from Joe Mathis along the way. "76 yards in all." And Washington right back in this game. The Huskies came after it and just missed it by that much.
And Austin Pettis, he gets the picket fence on what would have been a block. When you go for a block, you should not get the picket fence. That's just hustling back by those guys to really help out. And Pettis showed off some skills there, and he comes from a long line of great athletes in that family.
With the extra point to follow. In a quick turn of events and momentum shift, Washington could be down by just 6 points.
I called him Austin Pettis because his cousin was at Boise State.
People here don't mind, Rod. Don't worry about it.
I get you. But you know, his dad, Gary Pettis, is a Major League Baseball coach. Was a high school summer league teammate of mine.
Yep.
Wow. Back in the day.
Pettis with some lineage behind this talented run into the end zone. And folks, we got a new night and a new day for Washington. Dante Pettis with an electrifying 76-yard punt return for a touchdown to make it a 16-10 game. Washington silencing the sellout crowd of 38,000 here at Boise State, as they've scored now 10 points in the last 1.5 minutes. All started with that defense getting some of that momentum. This defense has produced consecutive 3-and-outs. McNichols in the backfield, little play fake action. A 1st down pass complete to Jake Rowe, the tight end. Out to the 39-yard line, a 14-yard gain and a 1st down for Boise State.
Huskies were hanging around. They were on the verge of being knocked out of this ball game, but they got a field goal, a 3rd down stop, and a big kick 6.
There is again McNichols on the run, out near another 1st down. A 10-yard gain by Jeremy McNichols, who's done a great job tonight for the Broncos, moving the chains on the ground and through the air and receiving. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Pettis with the punt return really turned things around for the Huskies. Fourth quarter coming up. As we start the fourth quarter here, Mark Jones, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kessenich down in the field. This game has really turned around in 90 seconds in the third quarter. And Washington got back into the ball game. Findlay keeps it. Quarterback run. Vea with the stop.
They got the short field. They got the field goal. Then they converted on third down. They got a stop. And then they got the punt return.
And Findlay now coming out of the ball game, and that usually means wildcat. Kelsey Young in the game. They fake the fly sweep. Young keeps it.
Oh,
he got hit. He put it on the ground, and the Huskies recover the loose ball. Recovered by Joe Mathis. And Washington got the break they were looking for.
Have things gone the Huskies' way the last 5 minutes or what? That ball gets poked out. Kelsey Young, the transfer from Stanford, a fifth-year transfer who's graduated, came over, had been running well tonight, but that one got punched loose.
And Joe Mathis right there, number 5, pouncing on the loose ball. Dwayne Washington into the backfield. Jake Browning, true freshman at quarterback. Little bunch formation. He comes back the other way, though. Pass complete to McClatcher. Jonathan Moxey making the stop on the play. 1-yard gain on the play.
Still nothing downfield.
Just gonna, when do you take a shot? Usually after a turnover like that, you sometimes like to pop the top a little bit, don't you?
They just haven't been. They don't want him knocked around, so they're trying to get the ball out fast. And Boise State is sitting on everything short and intermediate, and so they don't have anything deep.
2nd and 9. One tight end and one back end. 3 on the play clock. They get it off in time, and Browning fires a little bit high. Incomplete. Intended for Dante Pettis, who had the punt return for the touchdown. Dante Dion defending on the play. So now it's 3rd down and 9. Jadon Mickens time, what do you think?
Well, yeah, but not with the routes they've been using him on. They've only run him on, you know, the shallow cross.
But a quiet night for him.
Yeah, you got to get him outside. Got to rub somebody off. Give him a chance.
He's in the slot to the bottom of your screen. A little blitz coming, but they pick it up, and Browning has all kinds of real estate in front of him and slides in safely for the first down at the 44-yard line, a 12-yard gain. And the true freshman showed a little bit of poise under duress.
Not considered an athletic quarterback, considered a pocket passer, but you saw right there, he has a sense and feel for the game. He knows when to take a chance and run and pick up a key first down.
1st and 10. Browning out of the backfield, complete. Washington gets inside field goal range. Jonathan Moxey making the stop. A 3-yard gain. They played video games to see where a guy would go to school.
And Chris Peterson said yesterday, you see, you spend all that time recruiting and it means nothing. It comes down to guys playing video games.
Little receiver screen here to the other side of the field. Pass complete to Chico McClatcher. A 2-yard gain. 3rd down coming up. They're in field goal range. Do you play it safe here, or do you take a shot?
You don't want to give up the chance to get 3. So Browning has to be reminded, no sacks here. He's been smart with the football. I trust him to throw it, but you need to remind him, no sacks here. Throw the ball away if you get pressure.
3rd and 5. Got to get to the 17. Browning, a little contact, and that's going to be pass interference. Multiple flags on the field. Jonathan Moxey was in on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 2. Spot foul, automatic, first down.
Moxey shaking his head there. First-year starter. He's been one of the surprises of the Broncos camp.
Yeah, that's one of the freshmen, Renfro, that Moxie was all over. And now, Jonesy, hard to run inside on these guys. I like Linnaeus, 81, the 6'5" receiver. Corner route, fade route.
Big target. They run it. Washington. Nice spin move, but a good tackle at the 15-yard line by Summer Gardner. Summer Gardner limits the gain to 1.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to run the football in here. I think you have 2 guys who can make plays for you in the red zone. Linnaeus, 81, and also Perkins, 82. Yeah, they're 6'4", 6'5", athletic. They can get up and make plays. And they're hiding somebody back there.
They get up to the line quick. A little trickery there. And the run by the Huskies to Jadon Mickens leaves them with a 3rd down at about 5. So Peterson with a little prestidigitation here, a little trickery, sleight of hand. And look at that.
I'm glad you explained that big word.
Boy, you're going to see a little bit of everything with Harsin and Peterson on opposing sidelines. 3rd and 4.
Fade to the top is where you have your 6'5" receiver, and Perkins, 82, to that side also.
Perkins motions into the boundary. They come back the other way. Browning with all day to survey and throws it away.
Smart.
4th down. And you're looking at a field goal situation here. Braden Linnaeus, the closest receiver, but boy, the true freshman probably made the right play there, Ron.
Yeah, I mentioned he's been working with Troy Taylor since he was 10 years old. Troy Taylor played quarterback at California in the late 80s and is an excellent quarterback coach, excellent high school football coach, and he has taught him well how to play the position and be smart. And he's thrown that football away.
And Winkle made one earlier, makes this one from 28 yards out. And if you're a Boise State Bronco fan, you're wondering, why haven't we put these guys away yet? Lots to go when we come back. Boy, and what a switch in momentum here in Boise, Idaho at Albertson Stadium.
It's been all about special teams and defense for Washington in the second half.
Kick will come back out to the 25-yard lines. 5:18 to go. A fumble. A loose ball, and McNichols pounced on the loose ball. They're going to lose a few yards. They look rattled.
Yeah, this pressure has really unnerved them in the second half, and this has been about the speed and quickness of the Washington linebackers. See them attacking the line of scrimmage. They're bringing 6, 7 guys on first down, thinking in terms of run blitzes.
Loss of 5 on the play for the Broncos. Ball just inside the 15. 2nd and 15. Between the tackles, it's McNichols stacked up for a gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 3rd and about 12 to go. The clock running with 4.5 minutes to play. Not a great 4th quarter.
You know, the other thing,
for
Jones,
Boise State.
You know, this hurry-up offense doesn't bleed any clock. You know, if you're thinking about a lead and protecting it a little bit, you know, you run a little bit more clock. Not here.
3rd and 12. They've got to get to the 30-yard line. Got rid of it quickly, and a first down, but there's a flag down in the backfield at the 14-yard line. Williams Rhodes made the catch and run for the first down, but let's see what this flag is about.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 41. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's against Feeney. A 13-yard gain. And we'll tack some more yards on. Let's take another look.
I don't know. He was pretty close there. He didn't take a full second step. Tried to hold off. Close call. Go either way on that one.
Ball all the way out to the 46 now. McNichols sets in the backfield and takes the handoff. He has been the safe guy tonight. He has been the security blanket for quarterback Ryan Findlay. Tupou makes the stop for the Huskies on the gain of 4.
Struggle with the football there too.
Yeah.
That one bobbled, and that's the second time he's bobbled the football on this drive. And again, 3:20 to go in this ball game. If you start to slow the clock down instead of the hurry-up offense, you put more pressure on Washington.
Is that their nature, though?
Well, whether it's your nature or not, it's smart football, you know. And why give them a whole lot of time if you don't pick up a first down?
Second down and 6. Spirited running that time by McNichols. Picks up 3 yards, under 3 minutes to go. Third down coming up now. And they're looking at about 3 to go here.
Well, if you're Washington, no reason to change now. You bring pressure. You think running play inside, and you actually hope your secondary holds up if you get fooled.
8 of 17 on third down conversions tonight. And he passes it, but a great open field tackle after the catch immediately by Sidney Jones. He brings down the tight end row, and the Huskies are going to get a chance here perhaps to get the ball back as we look at a fourth down and into the eyes of the precocious true freshman. Will he get another opportunity when we come back? High snap. A fair catch called. There's a flag thrown. It looked like the punt returner, Dante Pettis, had his progress impeded as he tried to make his way to the ball by Cameron Miles, a 39-yard punt.
Impeded it, and he got in the way, too.
That, too, yeah. He stopped him up, man. I mean, saw the flag come from the back judge.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team. 15-yard penalty.
15.
Automatic first down.
That is a huge break for the Huskies as we take another look here.
He calls for the fair catch.
Oh, he might have sold that a little bit.
Well, no, he had a guy in his way, and he couldn't get to the ball, and he pushed him out of the way. His right. He's got a right to go get that football.
And these Bronco fans a little bit on edge. Under 2 minutes to go. The ball out to the 35, 1st and 10 for Jake Browning. Finds his receiver, Washington, out of the backfield. Broke a couple of tackles into Bronco territory at the 45-yard line. They've got 1 timeout remaining. And it's 1st down and 10, a 19-yard gain for Dwayne Washington.
That's their longest play from scrimmage tonight.
Number 46. Browning a little bit high, incomplete. Dylan Summer Gardner there for coverage.
They need to settle down, relax. The Huskies have plenty of time. $1:42. They've got a timeout. No reason to feel like they need to rush and get it all in one play.
Cameron Van Winkle is the place kicker. Will he get an opportunity, or will they take it into the end zone? Browning overshoots his receiver and behind Joshua Perkins, incomplete. And now looking at a 3rd down and 10. He had a lot of time on that. Didn't seem to have a lot of options, though. Obviously, you're looking at 2 plays from here, not just the one. Washington the lone back. Browning surveys, fires a strike down to the 32-yard line. That's enough for the 1st down to Lenius.
Well, Mickens has been running that inside route and drawing defenders away, so they brought Lenius in behind him to pick up the 1st down. Nice play.
1:21 to go. Browning takes a sack back at the 36.
Can't do it.
That hurts. Correa got there first.
You have to be aware of where the field goal is, where you are in relationship to that. And they need to be at least inside the 30.
That's the first Bronco sack of the game. Fires complete, wide open. Pettis all the way down to the 19-yard line. They're in field goal range. They've got a first down, 1 timeout remaining, and 53 ticks on the clock. Browning, Mickens got a block on the edge, and there's a flag down.
I think it's a face mask.
Wow.
I think Mickens was trying to get to the edge, and I think his face mask was grabbed over there.
Holding. Offense.
I know.
Number 81.
Wow. The other way.
10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
With 41 seconds to go, Lennius, the perpetrator.
Okay,
right
so
there.
Lennius is blocking. He gets the face mask there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to push them back.
Still well within the field goal range of Cameron Van Winkle.
Right now you're looking at about a 46-yarder. That might be stretching him.
Yeah. His career long is 51. Oh, and they sacked him back at the 40. Browning was greeted by a host of tacklers. Taimatutia was one of the guys to arrive there quickly.
Breakdown up front, but that's on the quarterback again. That's just you.
Wow.
You cannot take a sack here. Ball's got to come out. You see the head drop. You see him look down at the rush.
All the way back at the 37-yard line. Justin Taimatuia. A big sack for Boise State.
See that green line?
Yeah.
That's where they would like to be. That's their comfort zone.
Run a screen. Washington brought down inside the 30 at the 29-yard line by Vallejo. 25 seconds to go. Washington out of timeouts.
Close to the green line.
They spike it. They are close to that field goal range green line we have marked there.
Yeah, they're just a couple of yards away from it. So you're looking at about a 45, 46-yarder.
Cameron Van Winkle, 5'10" junior, was 20 of 24 last year. 21 seconds to go for the tie. This is for the tie, and to potentially send it to overtime. And he pushed it right. He had enough leg, but he pushed it just wide right by that much. And a disappointed head coach, Chris Peterson, who is used to being on the other end of things like that, especially here when he was the head coach for 8 years at Boise State.
Well, this is one occasion where the mentee, Bryan Harsin, will beat his mentor, Chris Peterson, in his return home to the place where Peterson made his name as a head coach.
Boise State on the verge of their 15th consecutive home win, which is the third longest streak in the nation. They're 56-2 at home here, dating back to 2006.
These two men did not meet at midfield before the game. They're good friends. Chris Peterson lamented the fact that they hadn't chatted in about 6 months because of this ball game.
Well, it's about the present, not the past anymore for Boise State. as Harsin gets the victory over Washington. Coming up next at Sports Center for Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick. I'm Mark Jones. Thanks for watching, folks. What a start. Good night from Boise.